Hi friends, Keely here, and I'm going to do something a little bit new for me today, and I'm going to call it life lessons. And the reason is it occurred to me this morning that I had an experience recently, and this revolves around Valentine's Day, that might be helpful for illustrating a couple of the foundations of mindset mastery. So, in my mindset mastery 101 teachings, I talk about what I consider to be sort of the four building blocks to mindset mastery. And the first one is mindfulness. The second one is personal responsibility, not blame. The third one is acceptance, or also known as surrender. And then the final one is creation. So, this experience, this life lesson that I'm going to talk about right now, has to do with the second and third. So, personal responsibility and acceptance, and not necessarily in that order. Okay, and here's where it is. For Valentine's Day, for the first time this year, I have a very special someone in my life who doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day. And I will tell you, he was nice enough to let me know well in advance that he doesn't, and what his feelings are about it and why he doesn't. And honestly, I understand his reasons, but I do celebrate Valentine's Day, right? So the question is, what now? And I can tell you that a few years ago, before I started studying mindset mastery and actually developing mindset practices that help me change and improve my life in some pretty fundamental ways, I think this would have been a big problem for me. I think it would have upset me, and then I might have even been offended if my partner didn't want to celebrate Valentine's with me. I might have even made it mean something about his feelings for me and how important I am to him. I certainly would have been disappointed and perhaps felt sorry for myself. But that's absolutely not where I went with it. And it was actually pretty natural for me, because of all this work that I've done, to, basically lean on two tools here. Okay. The first one is acceptance, right? And specifically, here's the deal. This individual is really special to me. I think he's fantastic. I think he's an amazing individual. He's definitely very quirky. And the question for me in a situation like this, where, our practices are different, what we want to do with ourselves, and, our ideas about the world can be different in some ways. And so the question is this something that's a deal breaker for me? Right. And if it is, that's okay. Right. That's just something I have to decide, and nobody else can decide for me how important this is to me. It really comes down to me checking in with myself to say, is this a big deal? Does it need to be a big deal? And for me, the answer is no. Right. And part of the reason that the answer is no comes down to personal responsibility. And by that specifically, I mean taking ownership of my own experience, taking ownership of my own needs, right? And in this case, taking ownership of my feelings, of my experience, means I don't have to make this mean anything about my partner's feelings for me, about my importance to him, anything like that at all. Instead, I don't have to take that personally. Instead, I get to say, you know what? I like to celebrate Valentine's Day, but that doesn't mean he has to celebrate Valentine's Day. And here's the second part. It is still important to me to do something special for Valentine's Day for myself. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So what I did is I went out and got myself some of the things that I knew that I would enjoy. And in this case, it was, I went to the store relatively late on Valentine's Day to do this. And so I ended up getting myself a nice bottle of wine, some chocolate covered strawberries, some French bread with liverwurst, because I didn't have pate, but I do love liverwurst, and brie. And this was just a fantastic treat for me. I actually ended up sharing some of it, with my partner. And I would have gotten myself some flowers also, because I do love fresh cut flowers, but the selection that I found was fairly poor. And none of that, I mean, honestly, being able to just show up in the world, accept what is. So in this case, there are a few things that I'm exercising acceptance on. My partner's feelings about Valentine's Day, right? Being okay with that and saying that doesn't have to upset me. That doesn't have to have a negative impact on our relationship. Also, showing up to the grocery store on the circumstances first that caused me to be showing up fairly late in the day. That doesn't have to be frustrating or disappointing. I get to kind of roll with it and say, you know what? I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be celebrating and getting myself a special treat. And so I did that. So all of these things come down to acceptance and taking responsibility for my own feelings, for my own experience, and making this special for me. So that's all I thought I would share. If you could use more support with this or have a question about it in any way, then please feel free to contact me directly, to direct message me. I love connecting and I would be happy to help. Bye now.